Hey, welcome to Big Ben's Movie Show. Again, I'm your host, Big Ben. This week we're looking at 3 movies, and we're starting off with a kids movie, and that means we're talking to the kid correspondent. That's Cassie. Cassie, how you doing?
Good.
Good. So we haven't had you back since Jungle Book was the last one you did.
Yeah, that's why we need to do more.
Understood. Okay. We can definitely start doing more. So this week we watched Angry Birds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at the clip and we can talk about Angry Birds.
Ow!
Eyebrows. Eyebrows.
Hey, Red, how are you? Oh, I'm horrible.
Mr. Red, there seems to be a recurring issue here. Anger.
Am I a passionate bird? Yes, but why does it matter that we're not the same?
Don't look, Bobby. The anger might be contagious.
He started it.
Hurry! Something's coming!
Greetings. I am a pig.
What's a pig?
Show them how we do it. How you doing? Is that what I think it is?
Excuse me, those are fragile, right? Not yours.
You are making our guests feel unwelcome.
And you're not asking basic questions.
Well, this just got awkward.
Doesn't anyone see what's going on here? The whole world is in danger, and it's up to us to stop them.
Oh my god.
If anyone knows what these pigs are up to, it's Mighty Eagle.
It's Mighty Eagle's Lake of Wisdom!
Get out of there! Don't spit in his mouth. No, don't spit it back! Oh, don't swallow it. Ugh.
Oh, wow.
It's him. Horrible turn of events. Horrible.
All right, so there was the clip there. I'm going to go ahead and let you know already. They showed my favorite part of the movie right there in the clip, and that's the scene when the bomb bird and the yellow bird realize that they've been drinking the eagle's pee.
Yeah.
That's just funny to me. I don't know why, and maybe I'm a terrible person because I like watching people drink pee and then get disgusted by it. But it's funny to me. So there you go. Cass, what about you? What did you think of the movie?
I thought it was great.
You thought it was great? What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was Downward Duck.
Okay, come on. Come back to the table. Okay, so Downward Duck. So where the guy's doing the yoga poses, and one of the poses is Downward Duck, and he shows off his butt?
Yes, to the red.
Okay, that's fun. All right, so the best thing about this movie is this is one of those movies that it's made for kids, but there's enough in there for the grown-ups that you actually do have some laughs just for you. Especially there's some great signs later at a rally for the pigs where they stole all the eggs, and there's signs that say like, I love cholesterol and shell yeah, and things like that. So fun little bits of wordplay that we can all laugh at as grown-ups. But the most important thing, the kids enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yes.
Good. So Cass, do you think other kids should go see this movie?
Yes, with their birds.
Please don't take your birds to the theater. Don't do that.
But bring your
No, because we talked about seeing dogs last time, and that was okay. Those are allowed. Do not bring your birds. They will poop everywhere.
Yes.
So, yeah. So.
But bring them in a cage.
All right, we'll work on that. Movie theaters that allow birds. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and jump off of this segment and go back to the regular grown-up movies for the weekend with my grown-up host, Chris Smith. So bye-bye for now. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back now. Time for the grown-up portion of the show. Normally, this doesn't mean the naughty portion of the show, but it's 2 rated R movies this week, so it's a little naughty. The first movie that we're going to be talking about is Nice Guys. But before we get into the movies, let me introduce my host for this week. He's back. Chris Smith, what's up?
Not a lot. Nothing has happened in the last 6 months.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Nice Guys. Let's roll the clip. Here we go.
It's my husband. He's gone missing.
Missing?
I'm terribly worried. It's just Fred's never been gone this long before.
How long has he been missing?
Since the funeral.
Well, I can start right away. You're a private investigator? My profession is very complicated, okay? It's nuanced. That's a lot of blood.
You beat people up and charge money?
Yeah. Sad, isn't it?
How much would you charge to beat up my friend Janet?
What? How much you got?
$30?
That's good. This conversation is over.
The mob is trying to spread its operation to Los Angeles. Somehow, my daughter Amelia is involved. Please, find her.
You seen this girl?
What's in it for me?
Oh, we can do this the easy way. We're currently doing it the easy way.
Whatever happened to offering me $20?
It's the recession. This is a high-profile case.
Made the newspapers.
Where is Amelia?
What the hell's going on?
Oh, you know, there's a guy coming to kill us. That kind of crap.
Hey, can you behave like a professional?
I'm sorry.
She's in danger, man. We have to do something about it.
She's dead.
She's not dead. She's not dead.
Why do you think everyone involved with this case was dying? This is not you. You're not a murderer.
You just killed 3 people.
I know, but I'm saying deep down.
Look, if you come in here, you beat up on me. It's part of the job, I accept it. But what did you do? You pissed me off.
Before we go solving the crime of the century, let's deal with the rotting corpse.
I got a plan. Run.
I'm going to go ahead and start off this thing and say I loved this movie. I thought it was great. The writer Shane Black is somebody that I'm a big fan of, from the Iron Man movies going all the way back to the Lethal Weapon movies. Really excited about his next project, which is a new Predator movie. But I loved this pairing. I loved the rhythm of it. I mean, it had that same Lethal Weapon buddy cop type stuff, but also just more. And really, Gosling and Russell Crowe, which is a pairing I never would have put together in a million years. But damn, it works. Yeah. And it's set up now to go on forward and have more of these, and I love it. I want a franchise. I want 20 Nice Guys movies. I'll watch them.
Yeah, you know, I really liked this movie. I didn't love it. It was kind of what I expected based on Shane Black's experience with Lethal Weapon. It's funny, action-packed. It's got some dark, kind of twisted humor.
Yep.
It's got a lot of adult language.
Yep.
It's a fun, gritty, grungy, but kind of light on its feet.
Yeah.
Detective movie, but it's not. There's nothing revolutionary about it. There's
No.
nothing great about it.
Absolutely not.
It's just, man, that's a fun movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. I really like Gosling's character, how he's more shifty and more frightened and Russell Crowe, because he knows what he does well, I guess, being essentially the Russell Crowe we all know.
Yeah.
I did.
Except he doesn't drink.
That's right.
Russell Crowe gets drunk and beats people up. This Russell Crowe just beats people up.
Exactly.
So yeah.
No, I really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good one. Interesting thing though, there was one specific part, because here's the thing, I saw this with my parents. I went on a double date, me and my wife and the parents, and they were troubled. There's some parts in the movie that got a little dark for them, and it really kind of spooked them. And specifically, it dealt with the kid. Ryan Gosling has a daughter in the movie. She's about 13, and she's kind of like their sidekick, and she helps them solve crimes a little bit and does stuff. But there's also some stuff where she's exposed to some very grown-up things that really, like, at the time of the movie was just like, oh, we'll just blow past it. It's kind of funny. It wasn't funny. It was, as a parent, it was quite chilling.
It was, and I think that's one of the things that I wasn't thrilled about with this movie
Yeah.
is that not necessarily that they put her in these bad situations, but it had the Nancy Drew type, I'm going to be the plucky little kid that acts like the parent of the parent. You
Yeah.
know, she acts like the parent of Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
In a very, something we've seen before. We've
Yeah.
seen that kind of attitude of the plucky young girl is the smart one, she's the responsible one, she's the mature one.
She drives him when he's drunk.
And the old,
Yeah.
which, is, speaking as somebody that has some hand in drunk driving education, don't do it. And that was
There
nice
you
to
go.
see. However, it just seemed a little, one of the things that was a little thin. It had
Yeah.
been done so many times in such a very similar aspect.
Yeah.
That I was not that great, and it just seemed a little convenient at times.
On the plus side too, I think going forward, I mean, it'll probably be a couple years before the next one, maybe even 3 or 4. By the time that one comes out, now she's grown up.
Could be, yeah.
Now she's grown up, and we're not dealing with the little kid stuff anymore. And now she's, more of an adult. And I wouldn't mind if she was exposed to some of those terrible things.
Now, let me ask you, have you heard any buzz on there actually being sequels to this? Is there a plan for that, or is it just...
I haven't, but at the same time, the way they ended it,
Yeah.
and then my thoughts on it, and I thought it midway through the movie, I was like, I'd like to see more of this. I would not mind watching like a dozen of these. These are great.
Yeah.
And then the way that it ends, where they say, "Oh, and now we're a team," and it was like, "Thank you. That's exactly what I was hoping for." But no, I haven't heard that there's definitely going to be a sequel. Probably because it's not making a ton of money. It's getting huge reviews, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, amazing critical reviews, but it's not making a ton of money. It's got $11 million, and that's as a summer movie. As a summer movie, it got released to $11 million, and it's not like it had giant stuff to compete with, because we're 2 weeks removed from Civil War.
Right.
So Civil War's not the monster that it was. It didn't even win the weekend, but it still did $30 million.
So it's monster enough, apparently.
It's monster enough, yeah. And actually, Angry Birds ends up winning the weekend with about $40 million.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, in the summer, it's always hard to compete with anything that has cartoon in it at all.
Right.
And Angry Birds really was cleaning up because they haven't had anything to compete with since Jungle Book.
Right.
So they're about a month removed from anything being on their radar. But yeah, it's a good movie. I hope to make more of them, but yeah, at this point, we don't know.
Yeah, I that's the thing. I guess that's the upshot. That's one of the ways that it's always difficult to react to movies like this when they're good, but they're not great.
Yeah.
And you really enjoyed it, but, or at least for me, and maybe I'm just not in the vibe for this, in a couple weeks, I'll probably kind of forget it, and it'll kind of fade away. But, if you're a Shane Black fan, if you liked Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, one of his other kind of private eye underrated movies, or little, kind of cult classic, I guess.
Yeah.
If you like some of his other stuff, then check it out. But
yeah, it's good stuff. Plus, something that a lot of movies don't have so much lately. This has rewatch value. This is the kind of movie that if I saw this a year from now on HBO, I definitely would enjoy watching this again.
Yeah, you know what? So it might be full of it.
So there it is. It's a good movie. Go ahead and check it out. Please, it needs money. But if you don't, definitely see it on video because, or DVD, I guess, or on demand, or wherever.
On demand.
Because videos aren't a thing anymore.
That's
so
right.
yeah. All right, moving right along. Third movie for the weekend, Neighbours 2. This, of course, is a sequel to Neighbours, Seth Rogen and Zac Efron's movie from a couple years ago. Chris, well, actually, before we start talking about it, we should probably watch the clip. Let's go ahead and do that.
I feel so close to you right now.
Welcome to Phi Lambda. Hi, what are you doing? We don't hit joints in here.
Your parties must suck.
No, we don't throw parties here. In the United States, sororities are not allowed to throw parties in their own houses. Only frats can.
This is a sexist, restrictive system.
We're gonna start a sorority that can party the way that we want to.
What's the name of our sorority?
Kappa. Kappa Nu.
Yeah!
We are the first sorority that can party.
I own it. Welcome to our sorority, Kappa Nu.
We're never gonna sell our house with a sorority living next door. What are we gonna do?
Maybe it's not that bad. Girls are usually quiet. They don't really take hard drugs. And they're much smarter.
Oh no, I killed a girl.
I'm on painkillers, bitch! Kappa Nu!
We need somebody who can relate to stupid young people.
Hey, neighbors. Let's shut this shit down.
For my theme song, my leather black jeans on.
Good disguises, everyone. You look like a psychopath.
It's a clown, man. People love clowns.
Christ, just stop doing that.
Middle America pack.
They're trying to dismantle our sorority.
I got an idea. We go with the airbag trick.
That's not gonna work.
If it worked with guys, why won't it work for girls?
These guys are idiots. It's a little hard to call the cops without a phone.
Give us that back!
No!
Oh!
What the?
It's called a cord, dumbass!
Get old people's phone!
Those girls are out of control.
Get away from me! They're using their sexuality as a weapon. Someone help me!
Get out of here, you animals!
This isn't working! You're only making them sexier!
They don't understand that there's no I in sorority.
There's two, actually.
There's just one.
No, that's a Y.
No in the middle.
That's an O.
SOROITITY.
Sorority?
That's how you spell it.
You think the titty is silent? Stop it!
I'm going to let Chris go ahead and lead off on this one. Chris, what did you think?
All right. You know, nothing great, nothing completely awful. There were cute parts about it. There was some fun stuff. I mean, I think I went into this movie not expecting all that much.
Yeah.
And expectations were met.
There you go.
So yeah, you know, it was fine, but nothing great, nothing super offensive. No big train wreck. This is another one of those movies. While Nice Guys is much better than this movie.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies kind of in the mid-range of where it's, you know, it's just kind of there. And that's it.
See, it's interesting. You mentioned not a lot of offensive stuff happened in this, because in the first one I felt like there was a lot more offensive stuff that happened, and I was kind of waiting for this one to like raise the bar of that. And other than seeing a baby partially born,
right.
I don't think we actually got anything like that. I mean, that was probably the most risque thing this movie did.
Yeah. Well, I guess from what I'm thinking, it's kind of creatively offensive.
Yeah.
You know, it was very middle of the road.
Okay, so like this is something that I noticed. Like in the I'm watching the credits. There's 5 writers listed for this movie.
Yeah.
There's 5 writers listed for this movie. The whole thing feels improvised. And what I mean is that often they would get to the end of the scene and not seem to know if that was the end of the scene or they should keep talking or should we just go to the next thing. They really just seemed lost.
Yeah.
So like each scene would start with like this scene's going to be about this, and then that would be accomplished, but then we would just still be there for a handful of seconds on each scene, and you were like, why? What are we waiting for? What are we? I don't understand why we're still here.
There are moments of it that are fun. There is kind of some of the bright spots of this is there is kind of some commenting on the kind of Greek culture and the weirdness of frats versus sororities.
So the rule that sororities can't throw parties. This is an actual rule, and it's actual crap. But this is an actual rule. Sororities can't throw parties. Frats can. And why?
Yeah, and the movie starts in a kind of neat place where these girls are rushing a sorority. They go to a frat party. It is, as they say, very rapey.
Yeah.
So they say, you know what? We're going to do our own thing. We're going to start our own sorority. They can party.
One of the best things at that frat party, she goes, gosh, it feels like this whole party is one giant arrow leading upstairs to a bedroom. And they turn around and there's a giant arrow leading upstairs to the bedroom.
That's right.
So yeah, it was all very rapey. So they go start their own sorority. And they say, at this sorority, we're going to party and we're going to have fun. And we can be just girls and we can have fun. And no one's going to try to roofie you and no one's going to try to... Yeah.
You know, and
which is really cool.
Yeah, and it was really fun to watch them kind of deconstruct it in a not very strident way, in a fun, we're girls and we want to have our own parties, and you know, we're going to be empowered on ourselves, but basically the object of why they won't, you know, why they're riding this feminist wave is to have awesome parties that they want to go to.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And one of the things that I thought was fun about it is every time you would expect them to give some feminist speech or something,
they just don't.
They would say, oh, you know, they were talking to the leader of the old leader of the frat.
Yeah.
And he would be getting, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, and they would give some sweet, cogent point of, well, it's equal because of this. You get to do this, and we want to do this. And instead of some big polemic, the guy goes, oh yeah,
That makes
and then
sense.
and then it's over.
Like when he says, no, frat parties aren't sexist. And they were like, no, because we have like pimps and hoes and like doctors and nurse hoes and like CEOs and CEOs. And she's like, yeah, we're hoes in all of those. And he's like, oh yeah,
that's right.
That's not good.
You know, and that happens like it's kind of funny.
There's like 2 or 3 of those.
Right. It's not this big charged thing. It's just they have their points. They cogently
They
put
just
them out.
move right on.
And then, you know, they win the day and move right on to the next thing that the next door neighbors are doing.
Yeah.
That is one of the things, and I could be misremembering the last Neighbors movies, but I thought it was interesting that the parents in this movie, played by Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne, are portrayed as pretty awful people.
Very awful people,
And they get more and more awful as it goes on. And they're essentially, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but I thought that was kind of an interesting way to take this.
Yeah.
But
to just make them awful parents like that.
Awful parents.
Awful people, yeah.
But, you know, before...
Like, you don't want them to win. I think they're kind of the good guys, and I don't want them to win.
Well, that's the thing, is it after a while, the things that they start to do, they're not the good guys. It really is, you know... and you start to root for the sorority that is basically destroying their lives.
Yeah.
Which was, you know... I think in more nimble hands could have been really interesting.
Yeah.
But here it was just kind of, oh yeah, look at that, they're doing that. And oh, all right, it's over.
All right, so that's all the movies for this week. We reviewed all 3 of them, and now it's time for Suck Not Suck. Number 1, third Garfield movie is in development. Apparently we didn't get all we needed from Tale of Two Kitties to wrap up the Garfield universe.
I think we might have.
And apparently now we need a third one. Bill Murray, probably not going to be a part of this one. I'm just going to go out on a limb. And he hasn't officially said it, but I'm going to guess he's not going to do this one.
Well, my understanding is they're kind of starting over. It's just going to be an animated movie, which is probably what it should have been right out of the gate. They probably saw what happened with Peanuts, and they said, you know, we could do that. And there we go. I don't know.
So it'll be less funny.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
I don't care.
All right, next up for Suck Not Suck, Michael Keaton. So here was the deal. So initially there was a rumor he might be in Spider-Man Homecoming and he might play the Vulture, and then they signed Robert Downey Jr. He costs a lot of money, so he's out. We take Michael Keaton out, and poop, we missed him. Then we hear this week, not only is the rumor's back on, he's in, it's done. He's signed, he's gonna be the Vulture for Spider-Man Homecoming. Suck Not Suck, having Michael Keaton added to the cast.
Not suck. Michael Keaton is great in everything. I wish he would go back to being funny. I wish he would do a comedy, something fun.
Multiplicity 2.
Multiplicity is a very underrated movie. All right, anyway. So Not Suck.
Not Suck.
Great.
Michael Keaton will be great in Spider-Man. So there we go. Shane Black, writer of Nice Guys, recently did an interview with a podcast where he was asked about Lethal Weapon 5. He was the writer of the first 2 Lethal Weapons. I believe he helped out on Lethal Weapons 3 and 4, but he wasn't totally the writer. And he said, oh yeah, I've got a Lethal Weapon 5. I've already written it, and here's what it would be. This is his quote. It was essentially an older Riggs and Murtaugh in New York City during the worst blizzard in East Coast history, fighting a team of expert Blackwater guys from Afghanistan, just one Afghanistan, that's smuggling antiquities. And we had a young character that actually counterpointed them. So there would have been maybe like Chris Rock, but somebody probably different would have been the counterpoint to that, and that would have been the movie. And it sounded kind of good. Like that's the kind of Lethal Weapon movies that I love. And those are a weird series because in my mind there is no bad Lethal Weapon movie.
What?
I like all 4 of them.
Oh, come on, man. You like Lethal Weapon?
To me, the 4th one is actually one of my favorites. The first 2 are very high on the list.
No.
But the 4th one might be my favorite.
No.
So I would be totally...
No, I'm not good. No, I'm not okay with this.
All right. No, I'm a big fan of him. I like him. So if anything, I would say that 3 is at the bottom of my list, but yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So, but I think 4 is, I love 4. 4 is fun.
No. All right, sorry. Keep going. I don't mean
terrible.
to derail
Okay,
you.
Suck Not Suck, Lethal Weapon 5. Would it have sucked? If Shane Black wrote
this
it.
Lethal Weapon 5 would have been actually not sucked.
I'm going to go ahead and say not suck just because, again, I like all 4 of them. So there you go. All right, number 4, Gillian Anderson from the X-Files fame. Really, that's all she's famous for, I believe. She's done other things, but
she's done other stuff.
Nothing that I would be like, oh, you know Gillian Anderson from
Well,
the
yeah,
event.
You can say that, but it's kind of like Leonard Nimoy and Spock. You know, he's
True.
only
True.
famous for Spock.
No, he sung
but
that Hobbit
good
song.
Lord, he is. You know, there's something called the Scully effect in the sciences, where there's a whole generation of girls who watched her on the X-Files and then grew up to become actual scientists.
Yep.
So a lot of the good scientists we have running around now, we owe to Gillian Anderson. Thank you.
And the next generation will be there because of the Big Bang Theory. So yay. All right. So Gillian Anderson wants to be James Bond, and she wants the whole thing retooled as Jane Bond.
Because retooling to make something the complete opposite of the thing that it is.
Why does that have to be
always
opposite?
Works.
Why does that have to be opposite?
Because James Bond, as an essential character, is an embittered, hardened misogynist. As a
you could do that as a woman.
You could. It would be very well. Actually, let me step back. You could remake this and retool this to have a Gillian Anderson be a James Bond. There's no way on God's green earth it would be rated PG-13.
No.
It would have to be, in order for them to creatively do something interesting with it, it would have to be a pretty serious R movie. Not a fan of this
Not
idea.
a fan. I'm going to go ahead and reserve judgment on this and then just say...
No. Suck, not
okay.
suck.
Suck, not suck. I'm going to say not suck.
Oh.
Because yay for ladies. Tyler Perry, of course, is in the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 movie. Oh, didn't you know Tyler Perry is in a Ninja Turtles movie? Yeah, playing a dude. He's playing a scientist named Baxter Stockman, who in the cartoons becomes a mutant fly. Now it has been rumored that in the third Ninja Turtles movie, this might actually happen and we might see Tyler Perry the Fly. Suck, not suck, Ninja Turtles 3, what do you think?
Suck, but having nothing to do with Tyler Perry. Since the 80s, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have sucked. It's a funny idea. It's like Sharknado. It's a cool idea that launches off a great name all over everything.
That's our show for this week.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's what we do. That's our show for this week. If you have questions about the show, issues with the show, which you might, maybe, if you're an actor, or if you want to be a guest host like Chris and come and rebuke everything that he said this week, shoot us an email. Our email here at the show is bigbms@zoho.com. If you like me and want to hear more of what I have to say, you can check me out on the Geek Wars podcast, available on iTunes and Podcast Addict and wherever podcasts are found.
Podcast to listen to. Another podcast I listen to.
Thank you. Chris, stuff you want to plug?
No. Go to jetjurgens.com.
Jetjurgens.com.
That's where you can find everything about me.
And your Twitter and the
Twitter,
book
and
you're writing and
it's all
that
there.
good stuff. So, and plugging the podcast that you sometimes appear on, or waiting on that?
No, actually, we are launching a podcast here in
Okay.
the coming weeks called Dorking Out with Chris and Sonia, and it's going to be great. Yeah.
Next week, that was a little high. Next week, my guest host will be Tim Hayes. He's coming back. We're going to be looking at Through the Looking Glass, the new Alice in Wonderland movie, and also X-Men Apocalypse. That's Through the Looking Glass. So X-Men Apocalypse, which so far the reviews have not been kind. So we'll be checking that out. Stick around for That's That, all the other great shows here on BCAC TV. Good night, everybody.